Hi again, good to see you. I wanted to give you a quick overview of a movie I went and saw with Maria Len last night. Yeah, Maria Len seems to come up a lot in my videos. I swear, I do have more friends than her, but we seem to hang out a lot and do fun things together. So get used to her name, you'll hear it often. So last night Maria Len and I took ourselves off to see Ricki and the Flash, which is on current release. It's sold as a comedy, but it didn't really work as a comedy for me. It was very much the portrayal of, I'm going to say American because it's set in America, but it's very much the portrayal of a modern day family, especially in the Western world, where people have separated, families have been broken up and re-melded into new entities, and the after effects that happen for years, for decades afterwards. This movie stars Meryl Streep as Ricki. It stars Kevin Kline as Pete, her ex-husband. Mamie Gummer, who is Meryl Streep's daughter in real life, plays the part of Julie. And Rick Springfield plays the part of Greg, the boyfriend and guitar player in Ricki's band. Now, Meryl plays the part of Ricki, otherwise known as Linda, but her true name that she was born to be was Ricki. Ricki is an interesting character. You don't love her, but you do like her. And you can see glimpses of behaviour that make you think of yourself and make you challenge yourself what your decisions have been and whether they've been the right ones or not. There are some hysterical scenes in this movie. The dinner scene where they're going into an incredibly fancy restaurant and the daughter Julie is dealing with the breakup of her marriage and her ex-husband moving in with another woman, is dressed in her pyjama bottoms and her slippers in a high-class fancy restaurant, and Ricki is there in her biker leather and her jangly bits of gaudy jewellery, and it's a funny scene in which the truths of the family start to come out, in which one son doesn't want his mother to know that he's engaged and getting married soon. Another son is angry with her for not being there when he was coming out and being gay. And the daughter's just in a drug haze and has the most hysterical lines and is as blunt can be. There is a lot of music, and Meryl Streep does an awful lot of singing. This might be a good thing or a bad thing, whether you think her voice is good or not. If you're a Mamma Mia fan, you're going to love this movie for the singing, and if you thought she was bad in Mamma Mia, might be one to wait for Netflix to come out. Ricki is irresponsible. She's a little bit selfish, dare I say, and very focused on her own dreams and her own needs. She abandoned her family when they were young to move from Indianapolis out to California to follow her dream to become a rock star. At one point in the movie, she questions her ex-husband as to whether she couldn't have had both dreams of music and family. And his answer was, "I thought the family was enough." It's an interesting question because in today's society, we are told to go after our dreams, pursue our passions. But the reality is, if you go after one thing, something else is going to have to give. And it's an interesting storyline at what Ricki gave up to pursue her dream that has turned into her rocking out every night in a divey little bar with quite the eclectic group of fans who love her, undoubtedly. But it is not the dream career that I'm sure she left for California believing she was destined to have. The wedding scene at the end wraps this movie up, and I think most people would see it as a happily ever after kind of scenario, where the children are dancing with their mother, who is playing music for the son at his fancy wedding, and eventually the crowd gets over their dislike of Ricki and all that she stands for and comes out onto the dance floor, and suddenly the whole wedding group and all the people invited are dancing and having a ball. I don't think it really is a happily ever after. It's a happy in that moment kind of ending. Because the reality is, Ricki never learns to sacrifice anything of herself for her children, even through the movie. Even though she is portrayed as being there for her daughter and being the one who can turn her daughter around from not wanting to be dressed and leaving the house to someone going out and eating and being a functioning member of society again. Ricki wants all the happiness of being a mother, but she's not prepared to sacrifice, and she's certainly not willing to give up anything of herself to make it come true. Now I say this because, and this is a spoiler, Ricki is invited to her son's wedding, but being in another state, she doesn't have the money to go and doesn't make any efforts to actually find a way to go there. It is Greg, her boyfriend in the band, who goes and hocks his beloved guitar in a pawn shop so that he can get the money to take her out to the wedding in Indianapolis. It is Greg who sacrifices everything so that she can have time with her family. Greg has some standout lines. One of them being when he was comforting Ricki over the phone and saying, "You grow 'em, you know 'em." Now this was said to comfort her and to say that she did know her children and she knew what was best for them. I would challenge that idea. I'm not certain that just because you are the biological parent, it means that you do know your children and you know what's best for them. I do question that. But one of the other standout lines that blew me away, and I hope this hits home for everyone who watches the movie, is when Greg says to Ricki, "It's not your kid's job to love you. It's your job to love them." That was a blowout moment in which he challenges Ricki to believe that she does deserve the chance to make it up to her family. There are some vague drug references, but you don't see anything. There is the beginnings of a sex scene, but again, it's not taken too far. You know what's about to happen, but thankfully you don't actually see any of it. There is some swearing, but nothing that is too unbearable. But if you have tender ears, you're not going to want to see this movie. I really enjoyed this movie, but it wasn't a standout piece. If I had to wait for it to come out on Netflix, that would have been fine. It's a great Netflix movie. Meryl Streep, well, is there anything that woman can't do? She plays the part of Ricki superbly and makes her a likable character when in reality, anyone else playing her, it might not have come off as sympathetically. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my review, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.